And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestle Pierce Raw Review. Your host, not your co-host. I'm your host, Evil Wrestle Pierce, better known to Hangman. And I'm joined by the recently freed, back to being just liberated
Back on the grind.
woman, the first lady, no longer dealing with the law. Isra is here. I also got my main man, Rob, formerly of the Island of Relevancy. And we're here today, guys, to talk about a really, really eventful episode of Monday Night Raw. It felt like twice the amount of things as usual happened yesterday. So there's a lot of talking points, a lot of discussions. So please make sure, guys, to like the video, comment, subscribe, and send super chats. I want your opinions on everything. I want your opinions on Drew McIntyre quitting WWE. I want your opinions on the Alpha Academy splitting. I want your opinions on the return of Seth Rollins ahead of Money in the Bank. I want your opinions on the
Heavy on
Wyatt
that.
Six. Oh, absolutely. I want your thoughts on the Wyatt Six, folks, because we closed the show with the debut of Uncle Howdy and his new faction as he seemingly killed numerous wrestlers in the WWE, as well as the people in gorilla position. I want your thoughts and perspectives on all this, including a Liv Morgan who is getting very spicy with Dominic now. Extremely spicy. Money in the Bank qualifiers happened last night. We have some of the contenders set, including Jey Uso and Io Sky. Bron Breakker absolutely was wrecking shop, tore up Sheamus, tore up Ludwig Kaiser, stepped to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wasn't having it, knocking over Prime bottles. He was pissed off. He didn't like this kid stepping to him. A lot of things happened on last night's Monday Night Raw, good and bad. I'm excited to get into it. I know you guys are as well. Again, like the video, comment, subscribe, lock the fuck in, because I'm locked in. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. You know, I'm very confused by the ending of Monday Night Raw and very scared at the same time. Not scared of like the stuff that happened, but scared of like the outcome. But I guess we'll get into it a little bit more when we talk about that. So,
Gotcha. I'm gonna hop off for half a second, but Isra, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm in a great mood. I've been in a great mood since like 10 last night. Um, so yeah, I don't know what it was. I mean, we're gonna get into everything later, and I'm excited to get into it because this has been like a wild raw. Um, and yeah,
It's one of those shows where
what the fuck
if
did
you
this
were
voice come
stoned or
from?
something, like it must be an absolute trip, you know.
Oh, imagine if you were.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Imagine if
wonder
someone was
who would have did that last night.
right,
Especially
right.
at the ending, what that must have felt like.
Yeah, you're just like, are they dead or like what's going on here? And that's the funny thing. That's the thing about the Wyatt stuff, Rob, is it's kind of hard to break it down creatively in the sense that I don't know what to because like unless I know Chad Gable's living status, how am I supposed to predict next week's qualifiers? Because he's supposed to be in a match next week. Is that still on, or is he dead, or?
bro, I'm a you know I'm gonna be nice. You know,
I mean, I have
I have
positive
bad
things to
things to
say.
say about it. I
Yeah,
just
I have positive things to say about it actually. And just to do the short form right now, and we'll get into it more in detail. I thought the presentation was great. I thought the
absolutely.
production values were extremely high, and I thought it came off very cool and neat. And the fans went crazy for it. You almost like forget until you see it in the moment again. Like, if nothing else, WWE fans love the Wyatt universe, and they see this shit as a humongous deal.
Yeah.
Um, they just see it as a huge deal. And I'll tell you what, when I heard that piano in the beginning of his song again, it was like, damn, man, like just damn, you know, it
Yeah,
got me in that way. It kind of reminds you he's gone, and it's like, what a fucking tragedy, man. This guy lost his life at the age of 36, left behind a child, left behind a wife. But yeah, Bo Dallas's younger brother is continuing on his vision along with the fellow members of this Wyatt Six group. And again, they debuted last night on Raw. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on all the other big occurrences on Monday Night Raw. So again, make sure to like the video, comment, and super chat. With that said, Rob, let's start going through some of them right now.
right. The first super chat, Karthik, 100 rupees. Drew segment ruled, tied in his frustrations with the ref giving Punk a shirt. Triple H's comments and other grievances, best feud in wrestling by a distance.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre is pissed. He feels like WWE is not taking his side on this. He feels like WWE is unfairly supporting CM Punk. He feels
WWE's trying to fuck on me.
Why is WWE giving Punk a referee shirt? Why is Triple H in the media press conference talking about how Punk is such a great addition to this company? In his mind, it's like, yo, I see what's going on, and I'm not fucking with it. So I quit. And I'll tell you what, folks, Drew McIntyre is a role model for all of us. Because when shit's kind of getting wicked behind the scenes, you shouldn't stand for it. You should stand up for yourself and get the fuck up out of there. So Drew McIntyre is leaving what he believes to be a toxic situation. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. CM Punk is scheduled to be on SmackDown this week in Chicago. He will likely respond to Drew McIntyre. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing the follow-up. This is a really good feud.
Definitely. I know he's probably gonna say some crazy shit about him on Friday.
Yeah, for sure.
Karthik 100 rupees again. Was annoyed Drew lost, but if you get Seth Gunther and Punk Drew at SummerSlam, it was the right call. IC title division is in a good place with Sheamus and Bron.
I can't lie, Rob. Look, I miss Seth Rollins, and the prospect of Seth versus Gunther at SummerSlam, that did make all the anger within my body towards Triple H for the Drew finish. Like, it did make me kind of like, it did dissipate. Because part of why I was frustrated, even though I get it, Punk Drew doesn't need to be a title match, right? And you want to have multiple big matches. But my thing was like, bro, on a SummerSlam show, we're going to have real estate dedicated to Damian Priest versus Gunther. Like, yeah, the match could be good. But that doesn't feel like a big match. That doesn't feel like a title match. That's not sexy, Rob. Damian Priest versus Gunther is not sexy. But Isra, Seth Rollins versus Gunther, I think that is.
I thought you were saying I'm sexy. I would be like,
well, I mean, sure, but also, right, sure, but Seth Rollins and Gunther, that's big time, isn't it?
She said,
I need Rollins to win his belt back. It's so funny how you just chuckled and you're like, actually, I missed Seth. Like, you're the prime example of the people that I always talk about that take Seth for granted, like 90% of the time. But then when he steps away, it's like you realize what you were actually missing out on.
Feels like basketball, where like
it really felt like the show was complete again. And it's not because of the catchphrase of Monday Night Rollins or anything like that. It's the fact that it actually is his show. Like, when he's there and like his music hit and he opened the show, it's like, this is exactly what Raw needed.
No matter what you think of Seth, and I have my kind of gripes here and there about his presentation or the character or whatever, he's a star in WWE. He's a main event star in WWE.
Oh my God.
And
he is the best of the best. And just his presence alone proved it.
When, like, I don't know if I said this to you, Rob, but I know I definitely thought it, and I might have tweeted it. But like, Raw has a couple people that are the anchors of the show, the pillars of the show. And Rhea Ripley was one of them. Seth Rollins was one of them. And it's been very noticeable that they're gone. Straight up. Just inarguable. And he came back and it boosted things. And I noticed it because all of a sudden, Isra, Rollins is back, and I'm like fantasy booking SummerSlam. Like, I'm getting like excited thinking about SummerSlam. I'm like, oh, but they could do this.
Damn, CM Punk can do that for you, big bro.
No, it's just one of those things where
I'm sorry.
People were posting their kind of like their mock cards for SummerSlam, and I'm seeing Priest and Gunther, and I'm not into it, bro. I'm like, I quoted one of those people like, oh, I'm just not. I don't like it.
What else you see him, bro?
Bro, niggas is putting Cody and Solo and Priest versus.
No. What's the other match, bro?
Cody Solo, Priest versus Gunther.
CM Punk Drew. Yeah.
Punk Drew is big, but
no.
No, that's a SummerSlam match. But the other niggas are saying Cody Solo and Gunther versus Drew, and I'm like, Gunther versus Priest. I'm like, yo, that's not SummerSlam, bro. What are y'all niggas talking about, right? But now the game has changed. Seth Rollins Gunther to go along with Punk Drew, to go along with Cody Randy, That's SummerSlam. That's box office. That's the money shot right there. That's the big time right there. And so now I'm looking forward to the show. Now I'm fantasy booking. Now I'm thinking about, oh, Seth could do A, B, C, and D.
Yeah,
And
because
so,
Gunther, I heard like Gunther's gonna and Seth is gonna. That's one thing I could say about Seth after all his injuries.
yeah.
He sells really. Yo, Gunther is going to tear his knee to
Hey,
shreds.
Isra, one of the
I
best
was
things
low
about
key wondering. I'm sorry to cut you off. I was wondering why he needed the time off. Like, I was kind of questioning, were your knees really that bad? I started analyzing his face. I'm like, did you get work done? Did you get your teeth done? Did
No,
you
no,
get
no,
your
no.
hair done? No, he literally just came back because he doesn't give a fuck about his knees. I'm like, you're
and you know,
insane.
Isra, that's the thing. I was trying to decide yesterday: is Seth a mark for rushing back, or is he a beast for rushing back? Because here's the thing, Isra, he absolutely could have kayfabed WWE and been like, "Yo, I'm cooked. I'll be back at the Rumble," and like, you give me a big pop and a big spot. He could have done that, right? But he's rushing back now, which almost tells me that they told him, "Yo, you want that belt? You want that belt back? We'll give it you right now." And he's like, "I bet I'll be there. I'll be there next week." You know. Um, I also feel like because the Raw's ratings have been going down the last few weeks. And I tweeted last week when the rating was significantly down. I said, "Yo, there's good content on these shows, but there isn't star power." And I think WWE saw the same thing. I think they're like, "Yo, we need to get this dude back." So, welcome back, Seth Rollins. I'm happy to see him back. And I was going to tell you this, Gunther is the ultimate limb work wrestler. He's the guy that targets those body parts that are flashing red, right? And what does Seth Rollins have? A lot of body parts that are flashing red. The back, the knees, the shoulders,
Right.
all of that. And so we're gonna watch a match where Gunther's gonna be hitting his back, paws, hitting them knees, putting them in fucking single leg Boston crabs and all that shit. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. And I hope Seth Rollins beats Damian Priest at Money in the Bank. Thank you for the super
He
chat,
should
Clint.
beat Damian Priest. Like, that
Absolutely,
belt is sold
without
for
question.
Seth.
You don't book that match unless Seth's winning. I don't care.
No, that shit makes no sense to have Damian Priest win because even in the promo, actually, like, never mind. Even in the promo, when Damian Priest was saying, "I wanted to cash that briefcase on you. I wanted to wait for the right time and do it to you. I was your first opponent." Da da da. Bro, you had damn near a full calendar year to cash in on Seth, and you waited until he lost, and the guy he lost it to just went through a whole full blown match, and he was going through what he was going through with Punk. Then you waited to go and cash it in. Like, you are a coward. And I need Seth to expose the coward in this man in their match because no, you weren't going to cash in on Seth. Seth had the greatest Money in the Bank cash in of all time. Um, and it would have been insane. It would have been like a career moment for Damian Priest to cash in on the man with the best cash in. But he just couldn't get that job done. Like, it was every single week or every single pay-per-view when Seth would have a big match and he would be beat up. Like, the whole timeline would be like, Damian Priest is just back there doing what?
Mm. Yeah, so I agree. I agree. Again, if Seth isn't going to win, why book this? And I know some people might say it's to validate Priest more so as a main eventer. And but I don't know, man. That's just a tough one for me. That's a tough one for me. Chi-Town Spurs $2 says, "Why do the murderers have a WWE shirt for sale?" Yeah, that's a great point. Like the fucking Wyatt Six have WWE merch on WWEshop.com, but they like killed everybody. That's the problem with like groups in wrestling that are like anarchists or troublemakers. It's like, are you guys signed talent on the roster? Are you wrestlers?
Bro, that was
So
a slaughter. What do you mean anarchy?
that's what I'm saying. It's like
They
when
committed a
Retribution.
genocide backstage. Like, what the fuck are we?
Yeah, it's like when Retribution had merchandise. Could you imagine Raw opens up next week and we find out it was all a vision? It was all
Bro,
like a little.
that's my biggest fear, bro. Now that you open that conversation up, that's my biggest fear is that like next week that it was just all a vision because it's just
The thing is,
like
if it's all a vision,
fuck.
that would make things smoother in the sense that like you don't have to worry about Chad Gable not being in that qualifier next week or certain other people getting attacked. So I don't know what they're gonna do because then look, if it's not a vision, right? Then Chad Gable's going in his match, right? And like, hey, what are your thoughts about getting like shot last week? And he's like, I don't know, that's kind of weird, but
In the
anyway,
head.
it's like, all right, that's kind of weird. Hopefully that doesn't happen this week.
Yeah, you can't just hope now that you mentioned hopefully it is a vision because bro, that would just be dumb.
Otherwise, like then you got to open a brawl with like people commenting like, okay, WWE is taking extra security precaution to make sure that these Wyatts do not invade, or like because you know what I mean, or it's like WWE has signed Uncle Howdy and these guys to an exclusive contract to WWE. This is kind of weird. So that logistical stuff absolutely is going to have to be figured out by next week. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say I'll at least await their explanation. But they do now have to come up with a lot of explanations because I'm to believe that Triple H got killed last night, because everybody in Gorilla's killed. So like Hunter was there, William Regal was there, Bruce Prichard was there, all the producers were there. Are they dead? Like what's going on? Or did they just run out of there?
So did anyone do a deep dive yet on all of the characters that were killed?
Yes,
And
Peach
because
has
there
all
were
the information.
bodies piled on top of each other, and like I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Peach has all the information on on everything concerning Uncle Howdy because she has been obsessed with this ever since the documentary dropped. So if you need any
Aw.
information,
Yeah, she is like super hyper fixated.
It
She was
was
like,
it was really good. It was so
yeah,
well executed
it
and beautiful
it
and
was well
cinematic,
executed.
and even the
yeah,
way that it was shot and everything, it's like I don't know. They put a lot of thought and time and effort into putting
The
this whole thing
presentation.
together. It didn't come across cheap, didn't come across goofy at all.
Mm,
I didn't yet keep up with the Uncle Howdy stuff, so this was like a first impression thing for me,
right.
and it moved me. And I'm not, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, but when he was around, I wasn't necessarily too big on him.
Hmm.
But the way that they executed this tribute act just off the debut, it was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's why I'm going to be open minded about this thing because I have reservations, obvious ones that any wrestling fan would make about how is this going to function on a wrestling show. And I'm not going to say that this introduction dashed away any of those concerns, but what it did was make a good first impression and at least leave me with the feeling of, okay, hopefully this works. Like for everybody involved, and it's an emotional thing and there's a tribute involved. For everybody involved, I hope this can be a viable thing on the show. I was talking to my brother Isra about Triple H's handling of spooky groups in the past. Isra, do you remember Sanity?
Of what?
Triple H's handling of spooky groups in the past. Remember,
Okay.
remember Sanity?
Yes.
Yeah, so my brother's a big
I
black and
like
gold.
Sanity.
they're
Yeah,
still a thing. They're just on the
right.
indies.
Right. And so I'm talking to my brother who's a big NXT black and gold guy. And he was like, well, Sanity worked. And they were kind of like, they kind of had that kind of dark presentation, but ultimately they were still wrestlers, right? They were just kind of crazy, spooky maniacs, right? And here's the thing: is this Howdy Group? Are they going to take the costumes off when the bell rings? Are they going to wrestle in those costumes? Like those are sort of the things we need to figure out. There's a chance that's just the aesthetic on the entrance, and then come bell time, they're just in gear and they're wrestling. That would be preferable. I think it'd be a little
I
silly.
think
What's up?
rather than having it, the bell ring and they're having matches in the middle of the ring, they should do it the way Bray Wyatt wrestled. No, not Bray Wyatt wrestled. The way Bray Wyatt wrestled John Cena / the way AJ Styles wrestled The Undertaker, where it was like a movie
Cinematic.
scene in a special location rather
Mm,
than in the ring in front of an audience. Because it's just cinematic to me. Like I don't necessarily. There is a possibility that they can make it work in the ring, but I see it better to be like have like a movie-esque quality.
what's funny about that, Isra, was that's why when I was hearing rumors about this group, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna work. And people thought I was being like condescending when I said this, but I literally said,
You probably
why
were.
don't you just give them like a Peacock show or something where they could just kind of like do WWE based content, you
I like
know,
that. That's
away
actually a
from
good
Raw.
idea.
Yeah,
I
like it's
think
almost like
said get. I think said just do something away from
no,
wrestling.
but genuinely, like that's how
I'm
people
sorry.
saw. That's what people saw what I was saying, right? But I was like, no, no, no. Look, go on Peacock. You fucking have your little kind of cinematic TV show with these guys. You do your little vignettes there. You kind of have wrestling based fights, scenes, and things like that. Because in the show, is sort of doing it in the show.
You're so
If
mad.
you want, the things, if this was pandemic, I'd say absolute odds. And so,
So you
because
was
we have,
talking shit. Uncle Howdy just took you out the stream. You was talking too much shit.
am I back?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just saying, it's just tough doing cinematic stuff now in the post-pandemic era is tough. But again, we'll see next week. Are these guys going to take these things off the outfits, or are they going
Is
to?
Uncle Howdy in the room with us? Why am I the only one with my camera?
Oh,
Rob.
I'm
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, I almost said it with. But no, I forgot. I forgot. My bad.
Absolutely. Rob, get to the next super chat. I gotta fix my internet
Yeah,
real
I
quick.
got you. Well, that's why the murderers have a T-shirt. Honest Sultan, $5. Keep your flamethrowers and buses on Wednesdays. We use guns on Mondays, bro. I'm still like, so like, that's the thing about this, bro. That's the thing that makes this. Ibu, are you back? That's the thing that
Yes.
makes me think this is a vision, right? Because if there was really a gunshot, right? Unless they're using like silencers, and these people and I don't seem like people that use silencers. Unless they're using silencers, how did was there a gunshot in the arena and nobody just heard it? Nobody like especially that close to Gorilla. You mean to tell me the triple threat match was that good and the crowd was that loud that we didn't hear a gunshot? Like,
I
come on.
saw I saw a tweet that said Jay Uso while like the WWE Raw roster is getting murdered, and it's cool with him doing like the it's just me, Uso just dancing with the fans and
Yo,
shit.
did you see? Did you see on .com? He was like, "Yo," he said, "Yo, you could keep the Fireflies, big bro. I don't want
Yeah,
nothing to do with it."
he said, I don't want nothing to do with them problems, Uso. Hey, you can take the Fireflies back, you can do all that. Hey man, I'm gonna just do my thing with the Yeet, you know, I'm not fucking with it. You know, so he
He
wants no
said,
problems.
"Man," he said, "Hey, killing people, man. I don't want nothing. Hey, it's not my problem." Um, thank you for the super chat, Black Yakuza, $2. Israel and Rollins are back in the same week. Nice.
As
It's
long as Seth is back, I'm here. If Seth is here, I'm here. Like,
guys, let me give you
it's
guys a
that
true
simple.
story. Isra, for most of these Raw reads, Isra usually watches the show on delay or like after the fact. The show that she happened to catch completely live, right on time, she tunes in. Seth Rollins returns. It's
No,
like,
because it's like
it,
the stars had aligned because
yeah.
I was gonna make plans. I was gonna have, somewhat of a social life that Monday night, and then the plans fell through. I'm like, oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. What else is there to do right now? So I turned Raw on and I hear Seth's music, and I swear at that moment I knew that God got me. I'm like,
Mhm.
fuck that person, fuck them plans. Like, this is where I need to be right now, and it just like it worked out perfectly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it. Is just it's an insane cosmic coincidence. Isra, I didn't believe you at first. I legitimately thought someone just tipped you off that he's coming in, and you're like, all right, I guess I'm strapped in from Monday Night Raw. You know,
No, we're
um,
just locked in. I don't need any scoops from nobody. I just know.
you just have that feeling in your spirit when he's around, right? Absolutely, that's beautiful.
All right.
Um, thank you, Black Yakuza.
All right. Thank you. Chi-Town Spurs, $5. Normalize walking away when you've had enough. Shout out
Yes,
Drew.
facts. Walk away when you've had enough. Niggas need to quit things more. Quit.
I just realized Drew is doing the punk thing where he's like, I quit. I just realized.
Yeah, my brother. I think it's my brother. No, it's my friend who has a theory, guys. They think, and we'll talk about it a little bit when we get to it. They think Drew is fake quitting to just make fun of CM Punk.
No, definitely.
That would be
He's gonna
funny.
post some. He's gonna post some shit today and be like, "Hey man."
Yeah,
He's
either
gonna. He's
that
gonna. He's just gonna post the art of wrestling clip of him talking
or he's
about.
gonna crash SmackDown, which he'll be allowed to do because he's no longer in WWE. And then well, I mean, like in a sense that like he's not a contracted Raw superstar or whatever, but my friend thinks that like he's gonna show up there and be like, "Bitch, you thought I fucking quit? I'm not you, motherfucker. I'm not you. I don't quit things just because I'm a little sad or salty about it. I'm just gonna kick the fuck. I'm gonna beat the
That
shit
would
out of
get
you."
him huge heel heat too.
Yeah, if Punk is cutting a promo on Drew and Drew just pulls up on him and just fucking destroys him in Chicago, that'd be big time.
All
Thank you,
righty.
Chi-Town.
Wait,
Thank
are
you.
they going to Chicago next?
Yeah.
This week on Friday Night SmackDown, though, they will be in Chicago and CM Punk will
Oh,
be
that's
in the building.
hilarious. That would be if that is a troll job, that's hilarious. Because didn't Punk show up at what's it, Drew's
Scotland?
home?
Yeah. Yep. Showed up in Scotland.
Definitely, and also Punk. We didn't forget that you hid from last night because of the finals, brother. We know what you about. Thank you for the super chat. Jay Stone 999 is Triple H on some dragon got to pay his dues tip or something. Got the streets saying my guy is a jobber. Get him in the Money in the Bank match. Also glad Seth is back. Sammy, my guy, but Bron needs that belt.
Everything you said was factual, Jay Stone. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. I have massive problems with the handling of Dragon Lee yesterday. To me, it was actually the biggest issue with Monday Night Raw. It just kind of really hit me that last year, Rob, part of what helped WWE win as a product was that there was this WWF 2000 approach to creative, where it's like they're spreading the wealth. Everybody's eating to different degrees. Everybody's succeeding. It feels like everybody has a chance to kind of be who they can be, right? And this year, that culture is there to a degree, but it very much feels more so like the chosen people can eat, and it's kind of more fewer and far between, and it's conservative with how people are getting pushed, and the undercard guys are more so just there to do a job. They're there to fill a role, and it's a role that's been already carved out for them, and they're more so like worker bees. It's not Vince era level like bleak. However, it's one of those things where it's like, man, if you're just slotted as an undercard guy to fill 8 minutes on Raw, that's exactly what you are, and it's not good, and it's bad for people like Dragon Lee. It's almost like, why did you sign him from AAA anyway? You signed him because he's an international superstar and a tremendous luchador. You call him the future of lucha libre. Well, if you call him all these things and you make all these video packages and waste money and time to do that, then stop presenting him like a geek. He should. There is no excuse for him losing to Carlito on Raw. There's none. There's absolutely none. And it's going to be that self-fulfilling prophecy where the fans are just going to see him as a bum because that's how you present him. And then it's like, oh, you can't push him. No one believes in him. Well, they don't believe in him because you didn't give them anything to believe in. Like I said, WWE in 2023, it's like Kevin Owens was a strong character on the show. Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, so on and so forth. You have to continue that with these new guys. Look at what they're doing with Bron Breakker, Rob. Look at how over he's getting now, because you're presenting him as a bad motherfucker, as a guy with conviction, a guy who wins, a guy who's strong, a guy who's protected. You devote that effort to your other wrestlers, and what do you know? You have more stars. It's crazy how that works. So it's something they need to really consider and take a hard look at, because, like I said, yesterday's booking for Dragon Lee was inexcusable. Just absolutely inexcusable.
Yeah, no. Even though I was like laughing about it on Twitter, and like, because I like Carlito, but like I don't love
It's
Carlito
kind of
now.
funny.
Like it was just funny. Like in the moment, it was fucking funny, and I was like, oh, and I posted the Carlito theme. That's not the point. The point is, you know what I think it is, bro. Triple H did this with a lot of guys when they were coming up from NXT. I think it's just he's just doing like you got to pay your dues type of thing. You
Definitely.
know, yeah,
It's
he's
definitely
definitely
that
doing
slow
a pay
burn.
your dues.
I think you shouldn't do that method with everybody. Like, for example, Carmelo Hayes, he's doing that, right? But the reason why that works is because he can talk his way out of it. And his character is that he thinks he's hot shit. He's delusional. He thinks he's above a lot of the veterans on SmackDown because he was drafted over them. And then when he gets the hard dose reality check, like, no, you're not. I could beat you with a schoolboy pin. He shakes it off and he's like, yeah, man, it is what it is. I'm still mellow. I'm still number one draft pick. But Dragon Lee, when he loses, what's he going to do? Oh, man, thank you. I'm going to just try my best next time. Like, he can't talk his way out of it. That's a guy because that like his English is a bit limited, right? And he can't do the other stuff there. So no, then you have to hyper focus on what he can do with the physical attributes and let him shine in that respect. You cannot do the whole beat them like a drum until they rise out of it approach with everybody. You have to take it case by case.
That's a problem, bro. He thinks everybody can be Johnny Gargano. He thinks everybody can be fucking Daniel Bryan. You're not. You're
No,
just not. It's not
if
happening.
Or even Johnny Gargano couldn't recreate that on the main
No,
roster.
exactly. He came back. Johnny himself was of the mindset of like, all right, well, we recreated on Raw where I'm kind of getting beat, and then people feel bad for me and they rally behind me. No, the modern wrestling fan, Isra, I've noticed a culture shift in recent years. In the past, right, in the 2010s, when an indie type darling got beat repeatedly, the fans didn't see them as a bum. They just felt bad for them because they felt like Vince was burying them. And then they were rallying behind them because it was their way of kind of fighting Vince. You're like, nah, fuck you, Vince. You shouldn't be doing that to this guy. Daniel Bryan, he's being screwed. But now it's not like that. Now, when guys get beat repeatedly, the fan just goes, oh, he's a loser. I don't care. And so if that's the mentality shift now, where people just cheer for winners, then you shouldn't just keep treating certain guys like losers.
The only time it actually works is when you present me with a person like with a story behind it. Like you can't just present me Dragon Lee and have him lose a lot and
You know,
and then expect me to
Rob,
care.
you automatically slot him as just a guy who you like to just have a good match in 8 minutes that loses, and you
Right.
don't. Then you're wasting your money. You're just wasting your money and your time. Rey Mysterio, God bless him, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I think he's still tremendous, right? But in angles, why is Rey the guy to save Dragon Lee? Rey's 50. Dragon Lee's like 27. Dragon Lee should be the guy who, out of respect for Rey Mysterio, the greatest luchador of all time, he's out there saving him, cleaning house, super kicking guys when they jump him. You know, that type of next generation respect thing. Dragon Lee should be running out of there, doing cool and dynamic shit around the arena, with his athleticism. If I just watch him lose repeatedly, I'm not going to go, man, I hope he gets one. I'm going to go, okay, I don't care about this character anymore. I don't believe in him. Can we just move on to somebody else? You've damaged him. That's my feeling. And as a little preview, guys, I love Chad Gable to death. He's one of my favorite wrestlers right now, right? I still enjoy watching him. But he's reached the point where I no longer believe in the things he says. He talked about how he's going to go for Money in the Bank and go for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I almost laughed. I was like, you're not going to do any of that. Like, you're not going to just give me a break. You're not going to win the Money in the Bank. Why should I believe that, Chad? You don't win anything. You don't win anything.
Bro, Rey Mysterio, like 3 months into SmackDown, beat Kurt Angle. Like you could have Dragon Lee beat Carlito. I know he's not Kurt Angle.
John Moxley says things, and I always believe it because he delivers on his promises.
Right.
John Moxley says, I'm going to dump you on your fucking head. I'm going to kick the shit out of you, and I'm going to submit you. And when he calls his shot, he delivers the shot. And that's how you have a credible character that you believe. When guys say things and it doesn't happen, Chad is like, I'm going to win the IC title for my daughter. I'm going to avenge my daughter's thing. And it doesn't happen. I'm going to beat Sami Zayn. He doesn't beat Sami Zayn. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you don't deliver. Then again, you just have a character with no credibility. It's something WWE really needs to take seriously. Bron Breakker, I find him credible. I believe him. I fully believe, Rob, that Bron Breakker is going to kill Sami Zayn. And you know why I feel that way? Because I've seen him kill Cale Dixon, the jobber. I've seen him kill Ricochet. I've seen him kill Ilya Dragunov. I've seen him kill Sheamus. So I believe he's going to kill Sami. That's how that works.
Right.
Thank you for the super chat, Jay.
Will Chisholm, $5. I know Drew may kill Punk on SmackDown, but you think Drew's taking time off to be with his wife? I think they said she had surgery.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Black Yakuzu, $10. Triple H really threw Gable under the bus for Braun. Drew had that's exactly what I said, Black Yakuzu. Drew had an unexpected reaction to Punk, and public murder is back. Priest is going to beat Seth, and Roman is coming back to finish their business.
You know what I would hope happens, Rob? I want Jey Uso to be on the verge of winning the Money in the Bank, and the Bloodline screw Jey Uso, and that's Jey Uso's wake-up call to help his family against these assholes. And then maybe you could segue to that. That's the return of Roman Reigns. Now, it's a big turnaround. It's like only a month to build SummerSlam. But if we could set up Roman and his cousins, versus this new fucking bloodline, that would be ideal. Regarding Damian Priest beating Seth, I really hope not. Because then what the fuck does Seth do at SummerSlam? Whereas Damian Priest could set his eyes on Finn Balor and some of the Judgment Day drama and all that type of shit.
The thing is, Seth wasn't the only person that was involved in Roman Reigns' downfall. Like, he was the primary one in so many different aspects. But if Roman was to, like, come back, he would have to jump everybody. Like, he would need to have, like, a hit list of people. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want to see that. Like, the same way that I really missed Seth, and, like, yeah, I'm biased because he's my favorite wrestler, but, like, Roman coming back seems kind of soon. I don't know.
It does
Definitely.
seem soon. I do think SummerSlam would be greatly helped if he pulled up. He could be a return on the show. It could be one of those things where you don't see him until SummerSlam, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Thank you, Black Yakuza.
All right. Hush 199. Yeet Man not winning Money in the Bank. They made it obvious.
Yeah, I will say between the promos and the heavy-handed nature of how they're presenting Jay as the guy to win it and the cover, the way WWE does things, I feel like that means he's not going to win it. I feel like they want you to believe he should win it, and then right when he's on the verge of it, like I said, something's going to fuck him up. I feel like that's possible. I feel like that's where we're going with this. But then the question is, who should win it? And even though WWE hasn't properly built them up, my goodness, I would love if Andrade held this fucking briefcase. Could you imagine if Andrade El Idolo won it? And you know what, Rob? When you have the Money in the Bank, it's eligible for a whole year. You could do a thing where he grows with the briefcase, where he's getting wins and momentum while holding this, and you know, like, man, Andrade, another great win for Andrade, and he can cash in that thing at any moment, you know. And then maybe a few months down the line, you start doing a whole thing where he's walking out past Cody, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got that
I'm not
thing
gonna
on me.
lie.
What's up?"
I want Chad Gable to win it. Like, I don't know if
Oh,
he's gonna be a zombie or like what they're gonna do with him.
right.
But it moved me. You know how you said that he didn't have enough credibility established
Mm,
for him to cut that promo saying he's gonna win the briefcase and become world champion?
mm,
I felt moved by it. I don't know.
mm.
Maybe it's because I'm so used to my favorite wrestler losing a million times until he finally became a champion. But I feel like it's possible. Like,
Yeah,
why not?
I'll tell you what. Listen, oh, I might shed a tear of joy if Chad won the Money in the Bank. I just don't believe it. But listen, if they did it, that'd be great. It'd be a great story because Otis won Money in the Bank in 2020 and failed to cash in. Chad did say in the promo, "I'm gonna do what you didn't do. I'm gonna win that fucking thing and cash it in successfully." Gunther's getting a title shot at SummerSlam. And if Gunther won the World Heavyweight Championship and Chad wanted to finish the story against Gunther, I mean, that'd be sick if they wanted to go back around the way. We'll definitely see. And I just struggle to see it because of how WWE's used him. But if that happened, I mean, I'd be right there with you and Rob just cheering it on and being happy about it. No complaints from me if Chad Gable was Mr. Money in the Bank. Thank you, Hush.
All right. Kale, 50 Mexican pesos. Bron and EO run Monday nights. Genuinely wonder where this EO stuff leads to. Any theories?
Io Sky is so awesome. She's such a fun
Io
wrestler.
definitely does run Monday nights.
Yeah, and Braun Breaker's a young stud. Io's been doing this thing is to where she's like, damage control has to change, and I'm like, what does that mean? Because she's not saying like I'm sick of this, I hate you guys, I'm breaking this group up. She says has to change, and I'm like, what's happening here? Rob, is she gonna be at that Marigold show with Utami Hayashi Shida? Is she gonna tell her like, you're coming with me? Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like,
Probably will. She probably will.
could you imagine if at that show she literally was like, "You fought well. This is a great showcase. You have potential. Come with me." And it's like, what the fuck? And then she just shows up with Kyrie and Dakota, and she's like, "This is Utami. This is who we needed." There's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I don't know if that's happening. I don't know. Is Julia skipping NXT? Is she going straight to the main roster and into this group or something? I really don't know. But we shall see. Again, we shall see. This is one of those things. I'll tell you what. It's a mystery that the dirt sheets are included on, and I'm not included on, and I kind of like it. I kind of like that I have no fucking clue what's going to happen with it. It's refreshing. I like more things like that in wrestling.
No, definitely. Um, just Simon, 419, 699 Canadian. So long as the Wyatt state as unhinged bruisers with no spooky shit, it could be incredible. Also, I see modern day Angle HBK and Seth versus Gunther. To be honest,
I don't understand the Angle Shawn Michaels comparison.
well, no. um,
Yeah, I don't really get that. But Seth Gunther, like I said, that's a SummerSlam match. Point blank, period. You don't even have to explain it. That's just a SummerSlam match. 25 minutes, dramatic, thrilling, exciting. That's a SummerSlam match, and I really hope that's what they're going with.
Hush, 499. I like the
You guys have
return.
been great with the super chat today, by the way. You guys have been awesome with these.
I like the return of the group. But seeing Gunther Gable playing ball with them just don't sit right with me. Need the wrestlers to stay far away from this.
Yeah, that's a great point. I that's why I don't know, and I have to see what the follow up is. But if if these guys are kind of like stuck and locked in with this in a long stretch, that's concerning. Gunther, the thing with Gunther is we can at least be at peace knowing that his direction for SummerSlam is the world title, right? But how much of these other wrestlers are going to engage with this? And
You know what I think? You know what I think happened, bro? I think it
what?
was I think this was like a vision of the Wyatt Six basically being like, "This is what we're gonna do,"
Maybe
because if they got Gunther, that doesn't make
it
sense
makes
if they
sense.
attack
It
Gunther.
makes sense.
Like, you know,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Gunther's yeah. I don't really see how that even works. And like I said, his direction is already set for SummerSlam. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, that stuff is pending, and we'll have a clearer idea next week.
absolutely. Honest the Sultan, $2. Wyatt Six with Lee fitting camera work gonna be cool.
Yeah, every week on Raw, Lee Fitting, the new production director, he does that long, continuous, never-ending shot. And this week, it was for the very final shot of the show, where you zoom up the door and then you go through the curtain and then you go to the backstage area and then you see everybody, no camera cuts. Really well done. And him kind of playing tricks with that for the next few weeks of the Wyatt Six is going to be neat.
Absolutely. And the last one for now, Caden Lee of the Performance Center, $1.99. Interesting day on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people cynical about this, and understandably, there's a lot of people really excited about this, and they're proclaiming victory at the success of this angle. And then you have me, who I don't know how successful it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to turn out. All I can say is that I liked this. I liked this segment. I don't know what it's going to be in the next couple weeks. Like Corey Brennan of Fightful was tweeting about how, like, yeah, they nailed it. Like, it's grounded now. And I replied to him like, I think it's a little too early to call, because it really is too early to call. It's like, it's one of those things where maybe they do kind of get this right, but maybe it just doesn't work. But what I don't want to be is, I don't want to be that guy kind of shitting on people's moment or shitting on people's enjoyment, or the people who are Bray Wyatt fans emotional. It just kind of feels like
You're not that guy? You don't do that?
I don't want to do it here. Sometimes,
Because you are that guy. You definitely are that guy.
sometimes I'm that guy, but I don't want to do it. I feel like an asshole if I do it here, and I feel like I need to be given a reason to be cynical at this point before just jumping to do it. I'm going to be honest and critical about the things that I need to, for sure. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, but there's nothing really to bury yet. So I won't do it.
Bro, we don't need shit like that Bray Wyatt Randy Orton WrestleMania match where they had a fucking worms on the fucking canvas,
it was terrible.
No,
it was
please,
terrible.
none of that. Just wrestle.
I hope WWE has all that under consideration when they handle this thing going forward. Was that all the super chats, Rob, or do we have anything left?
No, that was all the super chats. But I don't seem to know where Monday Night Raw was last night. Ibu, can you let the people know where Monday Night Raw was?
Raw was in Corpus Christi.
It was somewhere in the Midwest.
It was in Corpus Christi. It was in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Where is that?
It was who the fuck knows?
Wait, that's not in the Midwest?
No, it is down
Texas.
south.
Oh,
it's in Texas.
Me versus American geography.
Yeah, American geography kicks your ass this year. But Raw's in Corpus Christi. You guys are great with the super chats. Thank you so much. Please continue to send your feedback and your opinions on everything. We already kind of touched on most of the show, but we do have to give you some official coverage because we're professionals. So Raw's opening signature glitched, Rob, and pretty much let us know, because it said we're here. Let us know that the Wyatt Six are reviving on this episode of Raw. We got a Clash of the Castle video recap. They did not downplay the booing of CM Punk. They showed that it was an unpopular decision in Glasgow, Scotland. A stern Drew McIntyre was shown walking into the arena, and in the opening segment, out of nowhere, all you get is "Burn it down." Dun. Whoa, sing it, Istra. Whoa, come on, y'all gotta go with me. That's crazy. Seth Rollins comes out, and he's walking out in this white outfit. He looks like he's about to go to a barbecue or something. He has like this hat, this fucking top hat on, and he comes out. The crowd is going crazy for him. Rob, you may or may not know, Corpus Christi is historically a really bad crowd for Monday Night Raw. Really bad crowd. But they were really into this. They were happy to see him. Rob, if you could not be a Ninja Turtle and show a bit of your face, thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm right here, bro.
This man's like ducking under the thingy.
I'm not
But
ducking. I'm literally right here.
it's so you see, like it's like the top of his head.
It's literally just his hairline.
Yeah, like why is your?
I'm literally right here, bro.
Oh man. But he's out there, and the crowd is chanting "Welcome back," and they're so into him. And he said, "Welcome back to Monday Night Rollins," and he said he missed the fans too. And he said he was back for one reason: he wanted to be the very best of all time. Rollins said, "I want to be the best of all time," and he said he couldn't do that without getting back the championship that he made. And he looked at the Money in the Bank briefcases that were suspended above the ring. He said he's very familiar with Money in the Bank, and he figured it was the fastest way back to a title opportunity. But right at that moment, Damian Priest arrived, and he interrupted, and he was booed. And he said it was good to have Rollins back. He wanted to tell Rollins straight up that he wanted to cash in his Money in the Bank on him. He wanted to do it out of respect because he wanted to be the world champion by beating Rollins. And Priest said he was doing just fine as champion, though, and that this was no longer Monday Night Rollins. He said that Rollins said that he respected Priest's sentiment. Rollins said that they had similar paths and they both made their names in groups and cashed in at WrestleMania. The difference between them was that Rollins actually grew a set. Rollins realized he had to stand on his own 2 feet. And Rollins asked Priest, "What kind of champion do you want to be? Do you want to be the greatest or be a footnote in the Judgment Day?" Priest recalled Rollins beating him when he first became world champion. He said Rollins was better than him at the time, but times have changed. Priest wanted to make it clear that Rollins was not better than him now. And Priest told him not to worry about the ladder match, because I'll give you a shot at Money in the Bank. Crowd goes crazy. They're like, really? Oh my God. And Rollins thought it was a trap. He's like, what's going to happen? Are your boys going to come out? Are your fucking Judgment Day guys? And Priest's like, no. It's just me and you. It's me and you. I'm giving you this fucking shot. What's good? And Rollins said, all right, I'll take it. Corpus Christi's going nuts. Rollins said that this would be always known as Monday Night Rollins as long as he's around. And it's set. Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest, Money in the Bank, World Heavyweight Championship. The winner of this match is going to be Gunther's opponent at SummerSlam. Isra, what did you think of this opening segment?
I mean, I was excited. It's Seth. The fuck?
Right.
As soon as he came out, like I said, like that star power was just oozing off of him. Like he knows, like this is my shit. I love that they panned the camera to that one boy that said like, "Oh, I miss Rollins" or something like that. Rollins come back, whatever the poster said. And yeah, it really just felt like a really, I don't know, it was special. In terms of the exchange between him and Damian Priest, I mean, I said it earlier, I wasn't buying the shit that Damian Priest was selling about how he wanted to cash in on Seth and this, that, and the third. But what I do appreciate is the fact that the narrative will always be, Seth's character will always be that he is going to work for it, no matter what. He could have and despite the fact that I'm saying, oh, he came back and brought star power with him, he didn't come back and pick up the mic and straight up say, oh, I want my title back. Bring me Damian Priest and let's do this match. No, he was like, I see there's a briefcase. That's my opportunity. And this is the path that I'm willing to take to get the belt back, you know? And I just love that he went that route because obviously, like at this point in his career, like he does not need to be doing no Money in the Banks or any of these, like, it's just at this point unnecessary for him.
Right.
And I mean, I'm looking forward to the match because there is a lot for Damian Priest to prove. I don't think he's going to prove it. I think Seth is going to win. It would be dumb for Seth to lose. All around, like the segment was great. Of course, we miss Seth over here, and no matter what, we're gonna support Seth. And I think that's all the thoughts I have on that for now. Unless something.
What did you think, Rob? Rob, you're muted.
Oh, brother. Sorry.
What do you think of the opening segment, Rob? With
I
and the Money in the Bank setup.
I actually really enjoyed it. I did not expect Seth to be back.
Yeah, totally caught me off guard.
It really, I was like, oh shit, okay. I much rather, I wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of his latter work of 2023, but I have to say, like you said, especially with the injuries that he's gone through and the time that he's taken off, I expect Seth versus Gunther to be a way better match than what Gunther versus Priest would have been. That's no disrespect to Priest, but it's like we've had a couple of title defenses here, and the best one has probably been against Drew McIntyre, and but that was like a stadium show, so but Uh hopefully, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he doesn't like re-injure something in the match like he did at Mania, because he was very, very clearly like very,
Oh
very
yeah, he
clearly you
got
could
hurt.
see.
Yeah.
And then later on they had the clip of when he took the Superman punch, how his leg looked like it was like hanging off like a twig. So
Yeah.
hopefully he's fine now.
People thought I was tripping, bro. I watched that tag at Mania Night 1 where it was Cody and Seth versus Roman and Rock, and I was like, "Yo, Seth is not okay. Like, he's just not okay." I could just tell. And I watching on the broadcast version, like I remember like there's a point where he's walking by the camera and he literally goes like, "Oh fuck." I knew, and then the way his match went with Drew, it was like this kind of like explosive finisher spam match, and I was like, "Yeah, they're not doing the classic Seth Rollins back and forth 20-minute match because his knee is cooked." Um, but yeah, I think he's fine now. I do, like, well, relatively speaking for wrestlers, you know what I mean. I think he's fine. You know, there's always gonna be some nicks and bruises, and his back isn't great, but I do think that match with Gunther is gonna be awesome. Damian Priest, I respect Damian Priest. I think he's been a good TV character. He's been very valuable and effective, and I don't think he's like the shits, but he's still not right at that main event. He's not at that level where you can put him on the marquee, and I'm like, okay, that's okay. He's a top guy. He's not there. And I don't know if beating Seth is worth it just to invest to get Priest to that point. And also on a side note, I don't love him as a live back and forth promo. It's like he when he does like the promo battle thing, like he's just kind of okay. Like in this one with Seth Rollins, it was kind of relying on Seth to bring the energy in the segment. Whereas Priest kind of like talks. He's like, "Look, man, you know, I respect you, Seth. I like you, and you know, I'm not in the Judgment Day. I'm in a group, but you know, I'm by myself right now." And he's kind of talking, and it's like, I don't know. It's not. I don't know. Like he's just kind of a guy.
Sounds
Like,
like
you
it
know what I
sounds
mean?
like
Like
he's
He
he sounds
really
like
does
he
promos
doesn't
in
know
this
where.
corporate voice.
yeah, like because like Seth is being like a wrestler, you know. Seth was like, Corpus Christi, you want to see me fight for the money in the bank, you know? And they're like, yeah. And Drew's like, Dave's like, yeah, I'll fight you, you know, me and you and Money in the Bank for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'll
Why
fight
is
you.
it? Why
All,
is
all
that
rise, all,
in your Obama voice?
all, all rise for the Judgment Day. You know, I'm by myself. I'll fight you. I'm a better man than I was last year. And it's like, okay, like, all right. And so it's
It's like,
like,
okay, bro. We get it, bro.
yeah, like it was like they were Drew. Like he's like, Drew McIntyre, you say I'm a transitional champion? I'm not a transitional champion. I'll start you when I beat you. And Drew's like, well, when I take my title, you know, like they're being wrestlers, right? Like, I don't know. He's just
I
kind
mean,
of
he throws in like a little bit of Spanish in there, like parsley, and
that should be
that's
fun.
cute. But even I can't speak Spanish, but even the Spanish he speaks kind of sounds corporate too.
He's just like, that's what I'm gonna take. That's what I'm gonna beat you. Yo, kind of thought it's like he starts talking in Spanish. He's good in the backstage segments, though.
Okay, I think we've reached like the cap on impersonations.
Sure. But I was gonna say he's good at the backstage segments. I actually do really enjoy the Judgment Day Clubhouse skits. So the next thing was Chad Gable in the Alpha Academy backstage with Adam Pearce today. And they were pissed that Gable's pissed at the Alpha Academy. He says it was their fault he wasn't the Intercontinental Champion. He wanted another shot at Sami Zayn. Pearce understood his frustration, but suggested he go to the back of the line. And Gable asked for a match against anybody to prove himself, and Pearce accepted. His opponent ended up being Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman faced Chad Gable. This match went 6.5 minutes. Chad Gable did his best against the big man, but Braun Strowman got the win. The crowd was chanting one big SOB, which is the new chant for Braun Strowman. Gable was getting "You suck" chants. He's totally getting that like O2 Kurt Angle heat. You know, like he's credible as a wrestler, but he can show ass and kind of like be an idiot and a dickhead and stuff. It's kind of that weird serious comedy balance that Kurt Angle had around 2002-ish. You know, by like '03, Kurt Angle's being a bit more of a serious athlete. '02-ish, he's formidable, but he's also silly. And that's kind of where Chad is at right now. And so Chad loses to Braun, and the crowd kind of didn't see it as like, oh, Chad's a bum. It's kind of like, haha, like you fucking asshole. And
Yeah,
so
that
Braun,
tilt world power slam is so
it
beast.
was sick. I wish this match went longer. I think these guys would have a really good one. They had a good one on Raw 2 years ago. But yeah, a bit short, and Gable lost, and the crowd is just kind of laughing at him. And the Alpha Academy's in the ring, and he's pissed at them, and he's yelling at them, and he's just salty, and he's being a bully. So he just takes Maxine's fucking crutch, and he's like, "You get out of here, hop," or whatever. And he's instructing Maxine to hop on one leg, and Tozawa's not feeling that. He's like, "Yo, you're being an asshole." And Chad is abusing Tozawa. Otis is not fucking with that. And Otis gets in Chad's face. It's a similar angle to the one they've been doing the last 4 weeks, but this time something actually happened, and we got some plot development. because Isra and because Rob, Otis finally snaps back. He shoves Chad Gable to the floor. He finally had enough of Chad. The crowd is going nuts. Otis is like fucking flexing. He's like, ah! And he's jiggling and shit. Chad is cowering in the corner. Otis appears to have left the Alpha Academy, and he takes his buddies and he walks off. What do you think of this entire piece of business, Isra?
Oh, man, that was a lot. I don't know. Like I've said this in the previous weeks, and I feel this whole Alpha Academy arc is very, in my opinion, like main event esque.
Mm.
Like I think people don't take like Akira Tozawa seriously enough, or like Otis. We talked about him last week, like what he went through creatively and developmentally and stuff like that. And Maxine has become kind of like the butt of the joke for Chad Gable, and I don't know. I feel like this could be something that is elevated. That's kind of why I want Chad to become Money in the Bank, because it's like that perfect like in between where he still can do the stuff with Alpha Academy and like develop himself into like the main event and stuff like that. But I don't know. I like this a lot. I thought it was pretty solid. I really want Maxine to get to the point where she can also like stand up for herself.
Yeah, that'll be big. I do think she needs to like we need a moment where she just rips the mic out of Chad and she's like, no, actually no, how about go fuck yourself, you short
Oh,
piece of
you know
shit.
what I just remembered? I just remembered like it must have been like a year or something ago in one of the other podcasts that we used to do, where I said that I see it for Maxine that along the line she'll have like a girl boss moment
Yeah,
where she's depending on Otis and she's depending on Chad, but then later she's gonna like be able to like fend for herself and stuff. I
yeah.
think now's the perfect time for her to do that. I think there might be some kind of like build up before she gets to that point, but I think like I need that spiritually, because a lot of what he said, like the way he treats her and everything, it's very misogynistic. Like he just
Yes,
kind of like
yes.
talks about her like she's literally nothing, even
Yeah,
though he was the one that took part in her development. So if there was anything wrong with her, it's quite literally your fault for
right.
being an inadequate coach.
Exactly.
So
And that's the irony of it, and that's why Chad's a dickhead. And so
yeah,
then that means the story now calls for Maxine to basically kind of take it right back to Chad, and Chad has to eat shit at the end of this.
yeah.
Um, So
I need that.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to those payoffs. Again, this is one of those stories where it resonates with the crowd because they enjoy the characters involved. And I actually do see it for Maxine in that type of way. I think the fans like her and they feel bad for her. And they've kind of her inexperience in the ring and her just kind of like, because she's not a very good wrestler, but they've made it a part of her arc and her journey and her story. She knows she's not that good, but that's why she relies on Chad to help her. And now Chad's being a dick about it, and she has no one else to lean on, and she has to find the confidence elsewhere if it's not going to be from Chad Gable, and it's going to be from the fans. It's going to be from Otis. It's going to be from Tozawa, and they're going to give her the
It's
strength
gonna
to
be
get.
from herself.
It's
What are
going
you
to be
talking
from her,
about?
absolutely, and in a funny little way, even though it's just stupid little silly little wrestling, that's kind of
Yeah.
a poignant story to tell. I think that's kind of a poignant story to tell. So, I'm looking forward to the next few steps in this. What did you think, Rob?
I actually enjoyed this. Like I said, I love the Bron's new Tilt the World Power Slam because when he hit it on Chad, it looked like it killed him.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty beast.
and I loved the Chad Gable angle and Otis finally being like, "Yo, fuck what you got going on, like fuck this shit," and basically being like, "We're out of here." Um, Chad's selling of the Otis push, making him look like he's just like this this uh this monster that if he's unlocked, that he's very dangerous. I like that too. So I thought it was a good segment and a good way to finally lead to the breakup of the Alpha Academy.
Yep. I do wish Otis did more physical stuff. He shoved him, and the crowd is going nuts. He should have gave him a Vader bomb, a power slam, and a Vader bomb right there, or something like that. Like, because the crowd is going so nuts. So I'm like, yo, keep it going. Like, start kicking him in the chest, stomping him out. Do a fucking slam or something. But yeah, that was your breakup. Pat McAfee was analyzing all the hotel business from last week in a replay. Talking about who had the key and when did the key go to Finn Balor and so on and so forth. And so then we go to the Judgment Day clubhouse, and Balor told Priest he had his back if Rollins needed it. He had his back with Rollins if he needed it. Priest brushed that aside and asked him about the room key because Priest heard about and found out that Balor had Liv Morgan's hotel room key. Balor was offended and said, like, are you kidding me? I took it to protect Dominic. The key's in the trash. You know, Priest said he didn't mean anything by it, but he felt that Balor had been distracted lately, and he wanted to know what Balor was planning if he won Money in the Bank. And Balor told him that he said, I plan on cashing in Money in the Bank. I plan on cashing it in on the champion. And Priest was like, hold on, bro. What you got going on? And then he said, Cody Rhodes. And they're like, good one. A little tension there. So that was there. Dominic is frantically looking for his purple cow vest because Dom has that cow vest that he comes out with. And he's like, where's my purple cow vest? I can't find it. Where is it? And he's going through his bag, rummaging through his bag. And then Carlito's like, you must have left it in Liv Morgan's hotel room. and they're all like,
what a beast.
Yeah. And then the rest of the Judgment, they weren't a fan of that joke. We come out of that, guys, and going into the starting hour 2 of Monday Night Raw, we got a triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier. The new call-up from NXT, Kiana James versus Zelina Vega versus Io Sky. 2-segment match. They went back and forth. In the closing stretch, the fans were really into it. Some dynamic little pin counters and covers and combination moves. The crowd chanted, this is awesome for this match. And ultimately, Zelina was doing her thing, but Liv Morgan came out and Liv Morgan was wearing Dominic's purple cow vest. So she's wearing that. Zelina's fighting her. She's distracted. Io Sky is able to get the moonsault on Kiana James, and Io Sky, as expected, is the one going to Money in the Bank. Isra, what did you think of this triple threat match?
What was that?
What do you
Last
think
thing
of
you
the triple
said?
threat? I said, what did you think of the triple threat qualifying match with Io Sky, Kiana James, and Zelina Vega?
I enjoyed it. I felt like it could have given more, um, but I thought it was cute. It was exciting. I mean, I think Io Sky is obviously the correct winner. I'm always going to get on here and put Io Sky over.
Yes.
And I really like, you could give me a whole list of every single person, and it could be people that I respect, that I love watching. And I think Io should win the briefcase.
Yep.
Easy dub. And of course, the ending, like Liv coming out and being scandalous and
Mhm.
playing mind games with everyone will always move me. I love that. That's a really good pocket for her, is to just to kind of be like sly and asshole and just kind of like toying with people.
Mhm.
I think she just has the perfect aura for that. And I remember, like, early on when you guys were talking about like some of the promos and what was going on with her and Becky, since she's gotten out of the Becky verse and she's just kind of like terrorizing people on her own. It's just been really good TV.
Yeah, I do think she's turned the corner as a character. I think that the whole just like, this is my revenge tour and I'm coming for you, Becky, and these kind of weird stilted promos, it wasn't working. This, where she's kind of like you said, sly, she's conniving, she's vindictive, she's like sensuous, but in this kind of like unsettling way, because it's like her motives are just like, you're just kind of like, you're meant to feel kind of like freaked out by her a little bit. Like she's kind of, to me at least, is like menacing in a different type of way. Not like, oh my god, she's gonna kill me, but more like, what does this girl have going on, bro? Like, she's
Yeah.
not well, you know. And like you said, it's a pocket that she's fallen into that has made her a better character on the show. Liv Morgan was not an effective TV character a month and a half ago.
Well,
I think.
No.
What's up?
I just think that
Mm-hmm.
the women's world championship on Raw belongs to Dominic Mysterio. That is my biggest criticism of the belt. Since
Mm-hmm.
Rhea Ripley has become champion, that belt has belonged to that boy. I don't know why they don't just put it on him. Because,
That'd be
like
a
I
funny
said,
bit.
I love Liv's character. I love what she's doing. I feel like the feud with her that's ongoing with like Selena Vega and everything,
Mm-hmm.
it's valid, but I don't feel like that's the primary feud. I feel like, the same way that we talk about, Drew can be like feuding with whoever, but he's still just about Punk. With Liv, it's like she's still more so making it about Rhea and Dom and not like focusing on like uh um oh my god, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. But focusing on the current feud. And I don't know, I feel like it would be better if uh writing, like storyline wise, if we can kind of separate her and Dom and Rhea, and then what she has going on for her her actual belt that she needs to be defending, because should be a fighting champion. And that is not criticism against Liv, because I think that she's one of these talents that regardless of what creative has for her, like she's going to make ramen into like spaghetti. You know, she's gonna always like be able to make it work, and that's why I enjoy her character and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I want the belt to be off of Dominic Mysterio soon.
I thought you said you wanted it on him.
Off. No, what? I said it feels like the belt belongs to him.
Oh, right. I hear you. Yeah, I don't know if the championship needs to be involved in all this, but I do think it's become a thing on the show that is clicking better than it was previously. Rob, what do you think of this women's triple threat?
I actually really enjoyed this women's triple threat.
Mhm.
Bro, like they were doing moves and they were doing cool sequences and cool combinations and shit. It was really good.
Mhm.
I enjoyed uh the live aspect of her coming out. It was kind of it was all right. I
Mhm.
didn't really care too much, but
Yeah.
I knew what they were going for because the
Mhm.
LWO and Judgment Day are tied into each other right now. So,
Right.
but other than that, really good.
Yeah, my whole thing is if you gotta balance things. If you're gonna do the telenovela kind of scandalous stuff with Liv, I want balance with
But the
some good. Wait, listen, I want balance with some good wrestling. So when the shows have that stuff with Liv, but Io Sky gets to do her thing, I'm a happy camper because there's balance, and balance is what you need in life. So I was happy with this. Look, Io Sky is awesome, and I enjoy watching her wrestle. I forgot who said it in the super chat. Raw is kind of her show to a degree. So, um, yeah, good stuff here. Io Sky goes to Money in the Bank. Following this, we got a video package of Bron Breakker's murder of Ricochet and Samantha Irvin being all fucking petrified about it and stuff and jumping inside the ambulance. Alicia Taylor was here to on Raw tonight because Samantha Irvin was off for the week. Michael Cole said that she'd be back next week. They plugged Sami Zayn's music comedy show in Danforth Music Hall in Toronto on July 4th. So Sami Zayn has a comedy show coming up. But Sami Zayn came out. Good reaction. He's happy to be the Intercontinental Champion. He admitted that it wasn't easy beating Chad Gable and that all their personal stuff started because Zayn simply beat him in a wrestling match. And it was appropriate that it ended with him beating Gable in a wrestling match. Zayn said he was moving on from Gable, but he admitted that it might be hard to move on from Alpha Academy. He said he felt bad for them because he knew what it was like. Zayn left the bloodline when he knew he was ready, and Jey Uso did the same. And after what happened tonight, it was evident to Zayn that the Alpha Academy would leave Gable. With that said, it was time for Sami to look forward and do his job, which was to defend the title. And right at that moment, Bron Breakker interrupted. And Bron Breakker comes up, and Sammy's like, "You're gonna stare at me. You're gonna fucking cut a promo," basically. And Bron said that there wasn't much to say because Zayn knew exactly why he was there. He said he has left plenty of bodies behind him, and Zayn was next. Breakker was taking the IC title. Zayn held the title up, and the crowd chanted his name. Sheamus interrupts. Sheamus told Zayn that he's been chasing the IC title for 5 years and would do anything to get his hands on it. Bron Breakker was offended that Sheamus acted like he wasn't there, and he asked, "Are you out of your mind?" He said, "Hey," but Bron was like looking at him. He's like, "Motherfucker, I was here." So he said, "Are you out of your mind?" And Breakker said he didn't care about
Nigga,
Sheamus.
do you know who I am?
Literally. And so he said he didn't care about his shop story because and threatened to kick his ass. Sheamus called Bron Breakker the new hot kid, italicized kid, but that he had no skin in the game as far as the IC title was concerned. Sheamus told him to get to the back of the line or else. And Bron is stepping right to his face. He was like, "You don't want these problems." He talked about how he left a long line of bodies behind his wake, and that
Bodies.
right, and that basically that Sheamus is about to be up next with that. If he didn't play, Sheamus isn't going to step down to the guy. Sami Zayn gets in the middle of this. I was about to get really annoyed, Rob. I thought Sami was going to do some fucking Vince era shit and going like, well, then tonight it's official, and it's like you don't have any matchmaking powers. Adam Pearce does, but he got in between Pearce and he got in between Sheamus and Bron. He basically said, "Well, I'm going to go talk to Adam Pearce and hopefully we can get this match done tonight," which is much better than Sami just being the matchmaker, which would have been bullshit. So that's the deal with that. What did you think of this plot development? What do you think of the Bron Breakker development of Bron going after Sami Zayn, Rob?
I knew this was the direction they were going in. Am I happy about how they did it? Not really. Because in the sense that I don't like how It basically just it looks to me, and I really don't care how it looks to anybody else. This is my opinion. It looks to me like they just like said, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll give you this and we'll give you that to Chad Gable, and then it looks like when he signed on the dotted line, he said that. Well, they said, well, actually, after you lose, here's what you got to do first, and now you're in the Howdyverse. And I just don't like how it seems somebody in the chat said it earlier. On the super chat said it earlier, but I just don't like how it seems like they just passed over Chad Gable to give it to Braun Breaker. Now I know you couldn't do Braun Breaker versus Chad Gable, and I know you had to get a belt on him as soon as possible. But the way they just did it, I don't like the execution of it.
Yeah, I could hear that. That's why Chad in the interim has to be doing something big, and so again, we'll see what the fuck happens because we were told he's going after Money in the Bank, but then he got attacked by the Wyatts. So we'll see what the follow up is next week and what's the actual direction, what was reality, what wasn't. But like if Chad is winning some matches again and he gets the Money in the Bank, then I can live with that. If he's just slotted as a loser, then this is a big problem. That notwithstanding, I am very happy that Braun Breaker is going for the Intercontinental Championship. I think he's the most exciting thing on Monday Night Raw. And he's a good example of what I've been saying, which is that sometimes you got to just roll with the young guy. And they've done a really good job with his presentation. They've done a really good job with just how he's been packaged. And so it only makes sense for him to go after a title now. It's he's come in, he's wrecked shop, he's wrecked havoc. Let's go for a fucking belt. And I'll do you one further, Rob. I think Braun should win. I think Braun should beat Sami Zayn. So I'm excited for that. I'm curious when they do it, but looking forward to that match. I actually, it depends if they do a multi-man at Money in the Bank. If it's directly Braun versus Russell Votes said Braun was getting a rewrite. Was this it? I'd like to believe it's very likely. Like they did mention that Braun Breaker, they kind of sped up his push and sped up his plans. This feels like it. This feels like they said, all right, he's going after Sammy. That would make a lot of sense on various levels. I don't know if they're gonna do a 4-way or a 3-way at Money in the Bank. If it's directly Braun Sammy, I think Braun just wins that. And if that's the case, then I'd like him to do a match with all the big dudes at SummerSlam, like a big car crash match with all the other big guys, like Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, maybe Dijak, whatever you want to do. But I could also see them doing a thing where it's a multi-man for the IC belt at Money in the Bank, and then you save Braun and Sammy for SummerSlam. So we'll see. I'm fine with either direction, and I think Braun versus Sammy would be fucking awesome. So, solid segment from the standpoint of the character direction there. We got a Dragon Lee video package, and then Jackie Redmond interviewed Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. They just talked about how their dreams came true, and they were confronted by Shayna and Zoe, who basically said, "We beat y'all last week, so we should be contenders for the championship." So that was our So remember, Rob, when we were really baffled at last week's direction, where Zoe and Shayna beat them, and we were like, "Why would you beat them before the pay-per-view?" And so they did the New Japan thing, where it's like, we did that, and now we're justifiably the new number one contenders for the belts when we to face you guys. So you can expect that soon. Carlito and JD McDonough, 8 minutes. Carlito and Dragon Lee, 8 minutes. Dragon Lee was trying to do some of his cool stuff. Carlito did not bump properly for any of them. Carlito took the apron Rana to the floor. Carlito took that bump on the side. Dragon Lee did that wraparound thing into the power bomb. Carlito did not bend properly, so Dragon Lee had to push him down to get the power bomb set. This was okay, and actually no, it wasn't okay. It wasn't particularly good at all. Dragon Lee was doing his cool shit, and Carlito just didn't bump. He couldn't move. Like, he looks like he's not like a wrestler. Like he moves like Rob. You know, Heroes of Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's that like really awful show from '99 with a bunch of like old guys. Carlito wrestles like he belongs on the Heroes of Wrestling card. He can't move. It's like really embarrassing. And
you know what would be cool is,
and here's the thing: Carlito does pop me in the sense that he's kind of funny and he's amusing. You can keep him as a character. He doesn't have to wrestle. He really doesn't have to. This guy is like Virgil or Horace Hogan on. You know those guys in WCW that like they're always around on the shows in street clothes and they barely get in the ring. But when they get in the ring, it's like you don't take them seriously.
No, we need to get back. We need to get where's my boys Epico and Primo at, man?
I'm just no.
They were bro. They were nice.
Fuck that. But my point is, Rob, like he's out there in the street clothes, and it's like this is like Horace Hogan. This is like fucking Virgil, you know. And it's like, why should he?
He literally was like running around, just walking around, bro. That bump he took on his side of the Hurricane was so fucking funny, bro.
Yeah,
Because you
like
could tell he clearly did not want to take that bump. He was like, "Oh,
it's
fucking
it's
brother."
it's embarrassing, dude. Like this isn't a wrestler anymore. And so it's like he should be a manager, he should be a character. And when he does get in the ring, like in situations like this, he has no fucking business beating your young guy that you're dubbing the future of Lucha Libre. It's unjustifiable. There's no argument to be made of why this is a justified finish. There's a lot of interferences. Dominic got involved. Liv was there. Zelina was there. JD pulled Dragon Lee's leg, and then Charlito got the backstabber. So you could say technically Dragon Lee was protected, but you don't need protection for Carlito. You should just be beating Carlito. Carlito should not beat anybody. Genuinely, there is nobody on the Raw roster Carlito should pin. He should be that guy that's just kind of tagging along with the Judgment Day as a character. He kind of gets involved, but ultimately anybody could beat him. Braun Strowman beat him in like 20 seconds. You can't give Dragon Lee a pinfall victory here. So inexcusable creative. Um, People are asking where's Isra. Isra had to take a phone call, so she'll be back very shortly. But yeah, man, this was bullshit. This is just absolute fucking bullshit. They replayed Damian Priest almost getting injured at Clash of the Castle and showed Punk costing McIntyre. They showed the video, in case you missed it. Punk came out in the referee shirt because he saw the bump, and then he looked at Jessica Carr and said, "Oh, this is my opportunity to strike." He asked her for her referee shirt. She gave him an extra one. Punk put the referee shirt on and ran out there. So that's kind of how that whole thing went down. We were backstage with Chad Gable berating Otis and Maxine Dupree, and Otis was putting his stuff away, and Tozawa took the headband off, and he told Gable, "We're done." And Otis, Dupree, and Tozawa walked out. They quit the Alpha Academy. Gable screamed as they left and said they weren't done until I said so, and I'm announcing that you guys are all expelled. So he expelled them. Gable said he was going to win Money in the Bank and do what Otis couldn't do, which is become world champion. The crowd popped when Otis said they were done. So big development there. Again, we discussed this earlier about Chad's prospects at Money in the Bank. I'd love to see him win the briefcase, but we'll see if that ends up happening. Drew McIntyre came out, and essentially he just kind of was distraught. They were chanting CM Punk, and he quit. We saw him backstage with Triple H in gorilla positions. Triple H pushed the cameras.
Oh, fucking brother.
What's up? Oh, yes, they are. I guess they are, Monty. But yeah, so gorilla position. Drew McIntyre is frustrated, and he's talking to Triple H. And yeah, he quit. He walked out. He feels he has no support up and down in the promotion, whether it be management or anywhere. And so apparently, as of right now, he's quit and he walked out. We'll see how legitimate that is. We'll see if it was a fake Fugazi thing. Again, we shall see. Next was Caden Carter and Katana Chance against Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. This match time got cut because the opening segment went a little bit long. It was supposed to go like 4-ish minutes, went 2.5. Nothing match, and the baby faces won. This is one of those things where it was a means to an end to justify Io Sky wanting Damage Control to change. So we'll see what that change is going to be. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. This was awesome, Rob. This was two big bulls clanging and banging. It wasn't clean. It wasn't pretty. They weren't doing like smooth sequences. They're just kind of beating each other up, whacking each other. Crowd is super into Sheamus. He's eternally over. Braun Breaker's the rookie monster. At some point, he literally says the future is now, like Dewey and Malcolm in the Middle. Braun, before the first commercial break, stood on the apron and did a jumping lariat to the announce table onto Sheamus. That was just fucking awesome. It was so Steiner. It was just a vibes move. Braun had incredible speed when he did the rope running thing into the Steiner line. So he did all that cool shit. Sheamus gave him the 10 beats of the Bowdrin at some point. Braun Breaker went for a Frankensteiner. He botched it. They both fell. Braun still popped right back up, took the strats off. Sheamus got him and hit him with the white noise. Braun kicks out of that. The crowd is getting really into this thing. They're going back and forth, like I said. Braun goes for a spear, gets countered by a Sheamus high knee. That was fucking sick. Right here, that was the fireman's carry into the gut buster. Ultimately, Sheamus gets him set for the bro kick, and Ludwig Kaiser gets involved. And Ludwig Kaiser pulls Sheamus out. They're fighting. It's a DQ. Kaiser gets run off by Sheamus. Sheamus gets speared by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's talking shit to Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker's getting walked off by the officials. Kaiser comes back in, and he tries to do that 360 run around the ring into the drop kick onto the knee, to Sheamus's knee, onto the steps. Braun Breaker intercepts and spears him. He's going insane. He's powering up like a Super Saiyan. He's barking. He gets right up in Sami Zayn's face. Sami's not fucking with it. He shoves Sami Zayn. Sami knocks over the Prime bottle. He's pissed off. He needs to get separated. He's fired up. He's angry. Braun Breaker's talking his shit. He's not. He stepped right to Sami Zayn. And you know what I was getting at this point, Rob? I got Mike Tyson vibes. This felt like Mike Tyson. Just a bad motherfucker who didn't give a shit about anything. Didn't give a shit about his opponent. Didn't give a shit about anything. And he stepped right to Sami Zayn. Sami's not fucking with it. And I thought this was one of the best angles of the year. This was fucking tremendous as a piece of business. I thought the match was good. I thought the post-match was even better. Explosive, fiery, passionate. This was a pro wrestling angle. And it effectively made me locked in for Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. What did you think, Rob?
Definitely. And Braun versus Sheamus, even though they had like one botch, still was really good because they just like people know what to expect when they see a Sheamus match, and that's just to expect them like just beating the shit out of each other, basically. So and they both do a really good job at doing that. So this was really good, and and the whole Ludwig Kaiser thing being tied into it. Do you think it's going towards a 4-way?
They could do a 4-way. They could also do a Money in the Bank qualifier as a blow-off to the Sheamus Kaiser feud. We'll see what they end up doing. But I will say, Kaiser's impressed me. He's done a really good job in this singles push. So you'll love to see it. Isra, Braun Breaker spearing Sheamus, spearing Ludwig Kaiser, getting in Sami Zayn's face, pushing him, Sami being pissed off about it. What did you think of all this?
First of all, I apologize. I didn't have to take a call. But I actually thought that Braun Breaker he kind of looked like one of the greats, like a throwback type of wrestler. Usually his type doesn't move me. It's funny, in the beginning of the show, I was texting Ibu and I was saying like, Braun Breaker doesn't really move me. Like, you're 5'7". How am I supposed to believe that you're a killer? And he shut me up. He made me believe that he was a killer like right away. And yeah, I mean, even just Sheamus coming out and getting in Braun Breaker's face, that moved me. You guys know Sheamus is like one of the untouchables to me. Love him no matter what he's doing. So yeah, I thought that the match was very exciting, very impactful, and the way he took out Sheamus and the way he took out Ludwig Kaiser was like cherry on top.
Yeah, I had a friend who was saying that before the match started. He was like when he saw the segment, he was like, I don't know if I buy Braun Breaker as like intimidating. And then when Braun did like those crazy physical feats and he spears fucking Sheamus and fucking kills Kaiser and he's shoving Sami and he's just walking off like a bad motherfucker. He was like, all right, never mind. No, he got it. That's what I love to see. And I love it too because it's a young wrestler. We have a guy in his 20s getting this type of push. WWE needs young blood. They need youth. Because a lot of the guys that they rely on are in their 40s. Sheamus, God bless him. Sheamus is awesome. He's like 45. Rey Mysterio's like almost 50. You know? Even Seth Rollins pushing 40. Drew McIntyre pushing 40. Cody Rhodes pushing 40. Roman Reigns pushing 40. A lot of these guys, they're not going to be around forever. You have to rebuild. You have to prepare these guys. And you can't just keep them under your thumb and wait till it's too late. You got to make some stars now. So it's why Braun Breaker getting this moment and this rub is exciting. Sami Zayn, I didn't mention him. Him and Kevin Owens are almost 40. Like, they're aging out, man. They're aging out. And that's life. But that's why you have to prepare for the future. I thought this was awesome. Next up. After this fucking tremendous angle. Oh boy. Dominic was walking backstage. And he ran into Liv Morgan in her
That's why we watch Raw.
In his purple cow vest. And he was like, can I please get my vest back? And she said, you can get your vest back, but only if you take it off of me. And Dom is like, oh my God, what are you doing? And she's like, I'll start you up. And she zips it down a little bit. And the crowd is like, oh, what? Dom is like, oh my God. And so he's like, all right, fuck it, I'll take it off. And so he starts zipping down. Damon Priest comes out of nowhere and he's like, Dom!
The way Priest popped up like spooked me. I'm like, where did he come from?
He's like, Dom! And he's like,
because I was getting into it too. I was like, this angle is hot.
And Dom was like, all right, he's starting to take off her thing. And then Priest is like, Dom! And then, Dom's like, I just wanted my vest back. And Priest is like, just take the vest and go to the clubhouse. And so Liv Morgan, like, he just takes it off Liv. He goes to the clubhouse. He runs with his tail between his legs. And then Priest goes to Liv, and he's just like, Liv, can you leave Dom alone, please? I think at the actual Liv was really proud of her, proud of herself. And yeah, Priest is like, can you leave the poor guy alone? He wants nothing to do with you, please. And she walks off and giggles or whatever. Oh no, she said, I think he wants everything to do with me. And she walks away, and Priest is just like, la loca. He's just crazy girl, And so, yeah, I'll tell you what. Like I said, this is beginning to work from that standpoint. I'd like to see, because it'd be funny, what if they did Liv and Dominic versus Rey Mysterio and Zelina? Because like Dom would be wanting to get back at his deadbeat dad, right? And Liv could be like, listen, you want to get back at your dad, I want to get at Zelina. We have a mutual enemy here. We can work together. And he's just like, no, I'm not on your side. He's like, no. They're both in the LWO. We have mutual enemies. Let's work together. You can do a thing where it's like a reluctant partner deal. You do the mixed tag. You have fun with it. Ray can kick Dominic's ass. You get those pops. You get the pops where, what if you Liv and Dom win? And Liv is like, hey, I told you we'd be a good team. And Dom is like, he's still conflicted because it's like they are a good team and he's enjoying working with her, but he's not supposed to enjoy it. Mommy's watching this. Mommy could be back anytime soon. You could play around with that. So I think they could do that type of mixed tag and have fun with that, either on a Raw or at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Rob, what did you think of this sensuous, seductive angle with Dominic and Liv Morgan?
I find it entertaining.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the more entertaining segments on Raw, and really what Raw has like been missing, and like opposed to what everybody like loves to yell. No, bro, it's not sexual harassment. Dom never has the demeanor, or he literally always has the demeanor of he is hiding. He's clearly hiding that they're doing something rather than him being uncomfortable. So it's mostly, and that's what I like about this angle, is that like everybody's acting is at least decent to good in this angle. You got Damian Priest coming around and be like looking genuinely like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what do you got going on in this hallway? So
right. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. The next thing on Raw, this is actually pretty interesting. So we had dueling promos between Karrion Kross and Scarlett and New Day, and basically, Karrion Kross cut a backstage promo on the New Day. He challenged either man to a singles match with no one at ringside. He hoped it was Kofi Kingston and figured Kingston would want Xavier Woods to stay in the back anyway. So he's been gaslighting them, and he's basically been saying, "Yo, man, Kofi's been fucking taking advantage of Xavier Woods." Woods and Kingston cut a response promo, and Kingston said Kross hasn't done anything since winning the NXT title, while the New Day were the greatest tag team of all time. Woods mentioned Kross's challenge, and right before he's going to say he accepts, Kingston steps in, and he's like, I accept your challenge. And Woods kind of has the face like, all right, you kind of interrupted me, but okay. All right, gang. And it was pretty subtle. He just kind of looked slightly disappointed that he was interrupted. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger, Rob. I think they're going to really tease you, and they want you to believe it's possible to make the feud have stakes. I don't think they're actually pulling the trigger, but I do think it'd be kind of interesting from a character development standpoint. You know what wrestling doesn't do enough of? They do a lot of tag breakup angles. They do a lot of angles where they don't break up the team. They don't do angles where like the team is still together, but they work out personal issues with each other and still come out of it together. It's like wrestling isn't, for whatever reason, wrestling is not nuanced enough to do that. Because I can believe that Xavier and Kofi will stick together to the end, but they do have some issues with each other, and they do need to work it out. What if, Xavier Woods kind of goes like, yo, man, obviously fuck Karrion Kross, but I do feel a way about the fact that Kofi, you've won the big one. Biggie won the big one. It does weigh on me that I have not. And I don't think you've held me back. I appreciate you. You're my brother. But I do feel like sometimes I do need to get that type of respect. And I do feel a type of way about how this year has gone. And so if you don't mind, I want to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. I want to go after Gunther. And Kofi's like, brother, you don't got to tell me twice. Man, I love you, man. Like, of course. You got my support. You do that, brother. You know what I mean? Like, you do something like that. It's beautiful. It's heartwarming. They figured out their issues with each other. Wrestling doesn't do that because it can't result in a match, right? But what I think it could result in is more fortified, well-rounded characters, and the audience is going to get behind them even more. The New Day have something to fight for, something to get behind, and this time it's the chase of Xavier Woods. And if Gunther does win the belt at SummerSlam, Rob, it is a story you could tell because guess what? Woods has had a couple matches with Gunther. Woods was screwed out of being in the King of the Ring by Gunther. I would not mind, Rob, at a B pay-per-view in the fall, and Xavier Woods 1 month push into fighting Gunther at the show. I'm not disputing that. So that's kind of my feeling. What do you think, Rob?
And I totally don't disagree because we've seen, bro, all the performances within the last year that we've seen Xavier Woods in, especially singles. The Drew McIntyre match that he had was fucking great. Like that match that he had with Drew McIntyre was amazing. He's had so many other good matches on Raw with so many other good guys. Ivar, so many other different Ludwig Kaisers, etc. So, hopefully by that, like you said, I hope that, and ultimately, what I want out of this is, listen, Biggie is, like we said, Biggie is currently getting stem cells. Now, listen, I'm not saying something's gonna happen, but hopefully, out of this, if Karrion Kross is good for something within this feud, it's the bringing back of Biggie, at least.
That'd be really cool. That would be really cool. Yeah, that's my feeling. Do you have any opinions on any of the stuff we just discussed, Isra?
I mean, they better not break up the New Day
Right,
ever, especially
right.
not over some fucking Karrion Kross who has negative aura and would benefit from none of that. So yeah, I would prefer like how Evil. I agree with all the points that you made. That
Thank you.
sometimes you just have to be men, and sometimes you just have to like if you're in a group with someone, handle your issues man to man. Not doesn't have to result in a breakup because also. I don't think at this point in time that would benefit either of them, especially with Biggie not being around and that being a missing part of the story. I just don't. I just don't think that now would be the time for something like that. But if, say, what Rob said were to happen, that would actually make it exciting. I don't think it would do anything for Karrion Kross. I don't think anything could save him or his career. He will always be irrelevant. He will always be a nothing ass wrestler, and just kind of there. So endless support for the New Day. They
Mhm.
better not do anything stupid over Karrion Kross.
Right. I think what to make this productive to put a bow on this, you want this, if nothing else, to be a vehicle for the development of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods as characters. And then you come out of it and it's like, all right, something was achieved here. The New Day are stronger together, and Kofi Kingston is totally in support of Xavier Woods finally going for it, finally going for that big one, and chasing and vowing to just try to do it. Um, so, yeah, man, that was that. And then after this, they plugged CM Punk's appearance on SmackDown on Friday. And next week in Indianapolis, we have a couple Money in the Bank qualifiers. Braun Strowman versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. Winner goes to Money in the Bank. We'll talk about the events that close the show, but I don't know if Chad will still be in that. If he is, then I hope he wins. If that match happens, that could be really fun, actually. Rob, I think
Definitely.
that match could be fucking sick. So I hope it still happens. The other one,
If Chad Gable resurrects from the dead, he better win that match, and he better win the briefcase.
be awesome. Lyra Valkyria, Shayna Baszler, and Kairi Sane is your other qualifier. Lyra is obviously winning this. She's going to get the pinfall on Kairi Sane. That should be a good match. That should be a good match also. Jay Uso was backstage. No, not backstage. He was by like the concessions area, kind of, and there's a bunch of fans behind him. It was a cool setting for a promo because you got a crowd of Rockets fans right behind him cheering him on. And he cut a promo and he was saying that like he planned on winning tonight. He planned on winning the briefcase. He's like, "Hey, tonight, man, tonight I'm locked in, Boost. I'm gonna win the briefcase. I mean the yeet case. I don't know." He's all fired up, right? He's cutting his promo, and yeah, I'll tell you what, man. This is what I'm looking for. You know what I learned about myself, Rob? And I already said this. Yeah, he's a Yeet case. You know what I learned about myself, Rob? I'm more forgiving towards Yeet Man if the promos are better. Because
Yeah.
Jey Uso is what he is as a worker, right? He's not. He is what he is as a worker. But if you can get me into you and your character with a great promo, I can fuck with it. And Jey Uso was always a great promo. And then he devolved into the fucking yeet stuff. And he still says yeet, but he's toned it down and he's cutting up that fired up kind of
One
Briscoe
or
style.
two, bro. One or two yeets a promo is fine. You don't have
Yes.
to spam. You don't have to literally make every word you say in every sentence yeet. You don't.
It got to a point where like that was the only word he knew, which was
I'm
insane.
yeeting the yeet
He
down,
was
and
just
I'm
like,
gonna go and I'm gonna yeet the yeet down to this yeet down on this yeet
hey,
day.
welcome everybody to Monday Night Yeet. It's like, all right, bro. Like, but he's
God
just kind of
damn,
fired
bro.
up promo, and he dropped like one or two yeets. The crowd is hyped. The camera follows him into the crowd, and basically, it's almost like he's going right into the mosh pit. It was super cool, right, and very immersive and visceral. And I was like, all right, man, I can fuck with it. Also, because Jay's not targeting the people I love, I'm not, I can just kind of enjoy the moment, right? So he's coming in there, and the fireflies are out there, and it's just me, so they're doing the yeet, the up and down. I'm like, all right, nigga, fuck, man, yeet, you know what I mean? I'm just, all right, I can get into it. So I'm turning the corner on Jey Uso. Is WWE listening? Because Liv Morgan and Jey Uso were characters I was really struggling with, and right now I'm having fun with both. Who knows how long the good times last? I might have just jinxed both of them. I might have badly
They're
jinxed
gonna
both
be
of
really
them.
bad next Monday. Thanks a
Right,
lot.
right. And I'm gonna be back here fucking angry. But I was like,
There's
man, all right, Jay. So and that's the point. It's like like I said, he is what he is as a worker, but at least let him cut the great promos he used to cut. So Michael Cole at this point let us know that Drew McIntyre has deactivated all his social media accounts.
he's such an attention whore.
Yeah, he's being an attention whore. It's for the main event of Raw was Jey Uso, Finn Balor, and Rey Mysterio.
Notice how the smile on my face disappeared?
It did, but you know what, Isra? I thought this match was awesome. I thought Rey Mysterio was beautiful out there. Rey Mysterio is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and he's a great TV wrestler. But Rob, I noticed late last year, Rey wasn't looking right, and it was kind of scaring me. And I was like, is Rey finally starting to slow down? Then he had that match at Saudi with Logan Paul, and it sucked. It fucking sucked. And I can't even say it was all like a lot of it was just Rey didn't look like Rey. And I was like, man, what's going on here? And then we find out it's because he tore his meniscus in his knee. And he got the knee surgery, and I was like, okay, so Rey just wasn't right physically. He comes back, and he hasn't really had an opportunity to kind of do his thing. But when he does, he's looked like him Rey again. He had that three-way with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, and he was awesome in that. But this was even longer. 15-minute Raw main event, 3-segment match. And Balor was just a pro in there. Jay was there to bring the yeet. Rey Mysterio was there to tie this shit together and do his thing. This guy's doing different counters of Ranas and the 619s. He's doing the hot dog splashes to the outside. He's just doing his thing. He did that awesome babyface comeback where he ducks under the clothesline, jumps off the middle rope very lightly, just lightly jumps off it and floats backwards into a crossbody. It's beautiful every time. I thought I was in Arena Mexico. I thought I was watching Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. Rey Mysterio was just beautiful out there, and at 50 years old, he's like an ageless wonder,
Why you thought you was? Never mind. Continue.
Yeah,
What?
what was?
That's the name of the
Why
promotion.
did you teleport to Mexico?
Well, that's the CMLL. It's the top promotion in Mexico, and he worked like a CMLL guy. He's working out there like Mystico.
No, I'm just trolling you.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm saying. You just like taking the block off me. You want to rile the chat up to get mad at me because that's like your gimmick. But, but my point is, Rey looked out there like he belonged in there in the fucking trios match with Mystico and Atlantis Jr. It was just so fun to watch him, and he tied this whole thing together, and he's the best wrestler in the match by a country mile. And it led to what I thought was and it led to what I thought was the best Raw match in a little bit, maybe a week or 2 weeks. Awesome main event. Of course, Jey Uso wins.
That's for sure.
Judgment Day get involved, and Braun Strowman gets involved, and he clears them out and all that type of jazz. And Jay gets to win after Balor does a coup de grace to Rey Mysterio, but then the Jey Uso does the Uso splash to Finn Balor. Jey Uso's going to Money in the Bank. Isra, what did you think of this match?
I agree with everything that you said about Rey being the star of the match. let's just cut the shit. Like with Finn Balor, stop putting him in main events. Like,
Come on,
if we're
man.
gonna talk about like a nothing ass wrestler, that is what Finn Balor gives me. And I'm not taking nothing away from whatever he's accomplished in his career. I really don't care. I just feel like when you put him in the main event, take a nothing ass wrestler, put him in the main event, it just becomes a whatever match. It really cheapens it. And I really didn't care for anything that Finn Balor did in the match. Uh, Also, as much as you guys give Jay Uso shit, when he won, that moved me.
Yeah, no, it did too.
No, I did it. No, I did. It definitely did. It's not. Yeah, no. The problem with Jey
Okay,
Uso is
it's
not
so
like him.
funny. After Jay Uso wins, I text Ibu. I'm like, oh, Jay won. Like, I'm smiling. I was like celebrating, right? I was doing a victory lap because I know he don't like Jay. And this guy's talking about, oh, you spoiled it for me.
Yeah, because I don't watch
You
Raw
know, I'm
live.
Bro,
behind.
fucking Ibu, bro, loves doing this thing, y'all, where he's just like, I don't get it. Like he
No,
loves watching running that Raw 45 minutes behind, and it's so weird.
and the thing is, Ibu will spoil actual plans like weeks before that he knows about. But he's mad at me because I spoiled something that he's gonna see in 20 minutes. Like, you should know what's gonna happen. But anyways, congratulations to Jay Uso. I can't wait for him to win the Yeet case.
I'll tell you what, Finn Balor, I thought he was kind of concerning last week against Drew McIntyre. That match is pretty dry. I thought he was fine this week, but we'll continue to monitor that. Why is the chat like getting mad at guys? I know Rey Mysterio made his name in AAA. Like Triple A is
Let's
what's going on?
go.
Like
Let's
people are being
go.
ridiculous. Number one, I think going Triple A because stylistically, the way Rey Mysterio works now, Rey Mysterio when he was like kind of like the boy wonder in the '90s, it was because of the insane athletic moves. He was pushing wrestling as an artistic medium forward, right? And that was kind of Triple A's bread and butter. You know, you got to see Psicosis and Juventud and fucking Rey Mysterio and Elio
No,
del
that's it.
Santo.
That's it. You
No,
can't come back from
I'm
that.
just saying. And so Ray was doing that, right? Ray's not that guy anymore. Ray's not doing stuff you've never seen. He's not Elio del Vikingo, right? But what he is a guy that has lucha fundamentals and he knows the spirit of it. It's like lucha version of Tanahashi. And that's kind of the bread and butter of the top baby faces of CMLL. And also,
Yeah,
by
this
the
nigga
way,
petrified.
he's fucking, what are you niggas talking about? I know what you're talking about, bro.
This
Like,
nigga's
crash out on
petrified.
air. Also, when WCW folded, Rob,
My
did Rey
fault.
Mysterio go to WWE in 2001? No, he went to CMLL. Don't try to school me on this. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
The main event was Bray Wyatt.
Take that.
No, I will not. The main event was Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt Six. We got the slow camera pan with the lead fitting camera angle, and everybody's dead, including Chad Gable. And we got all these introductions of Wyatt members. We saw Eric Rowan there. Nikki Cross was crawling towards the lantern. One of them was sitting, kind of perched and crouched in gorilla. I'm not sure which one that was, but this was really cool. The presentation and the production values were very, very nice and very high end. And like I said, just really great presentation, eerie, good visuals, and the crowd was chanting "Holy shit!" They were losing their fucking minds. And coming out of the distance from the light was Uncle Howdy himself, Bo Dallas. And so he walks out there and he starts walking out towards the arena, and the other members join him. And they make it right to the Raw stage. They pick up the lantern. The crowd is chanting "Holy shit!" They're losing their fucking minds. And then we're here, and Raw ends. Hell of a cliffhanger. We'll see how this works. We'll see how it affects. We'll see what the ramifications are to Monday Night Raw, and I guess we'll judge and scrutinize from there. Again, I'm tentatively hoping that this can work. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. The bell's gonna have to ring, but as a presentation, this was cool.
You
And,
know what they should do?
What's up?
They should make Eric and Gacy the tag team. Or Dexter and Eric the tag team or something, because
Evil, would you?
Dexter doesn't work by himself, bro.
What's up, Mister?
Would you list all of the members of the Wyatt Six?
We don't have a sixth one at the moment, but it's going to be Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Uncle Howdy, and Eric Rowan.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Again, I would like this to work. I don't know if it will work. I do know this. If nothing else, the Wyatt versus introductions are always good. When they first did the Fiend, it was cool at the beginning. When Bray came back in 2022, it was really cool. When they introduced the Wyatt family themselves, it was really cool. That's never been the problem. How this is going to work in wrestling, I don't know. And I really hope it doesn't come at the detriment of wrestlers I like. But I'm willing to be open-minded, and we shall see how it works. So until then, all I can speak on is this introduction, which I thought looked really cool and got over big in the building. And if it does work, it's a nice jolt to a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Because I'll tell you what, if you're going to watch a Raw and then out of nowhere, it's like, whoa, some fucking Wyatt shit, and it's like really neat. It's like, all right, that's a cool thing to have on the show's repertoire, on a variety show. So I thought this Raw had a lot of things to like. It had something for everybody, depending on what your taste is. It was not perfect. But a lot of eventful things. It's just very eventful, and you want that on the road to SummerSlam. You want the show to feel like things are happening and moving towards a big climax. And I thought it was important because I wasn't excited for SummerSlam, and now coming out of it, it's like, oh man, what's going to happen with the Money in the Bank? What's going to happen with Sami Zayn and Bron? What's going to happen with Seth Rollins? So from that standpoint, I would give this Raw a thumbs up. That's kind of my thing on it. Rob, Isra, do you have any additional thoughts on this closing angle for Monday Night Raw?
No, I think it's a vision.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Israel.
I mean, it took a lot of like twists and turns. Like in the beginning, of course, like as I said earlier, I mean, I did kind of give most of my thoughts earlier, but
right.
I wasn't familiar with like who the members would be or anything like that. When Nikki Cross came crawling, I'm like, first of all, I'm like, is that Nikki Cross? And then I'm like, wait, how is she in this? And then I started like, as it was going, I was like having theories in my head about like, oh, what was her involvement with Alexa Bliss? Like, is there some type of like, Easter eggs from back then that maybe we didn't catch, or that they're trying to tie into this? And who are these other people? And like, why are these people being killed? It was a lot of fun. It was cinematic. It was like, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And once it ended, I was like, I know there's a lot of contrarians before this debut ever happened. And all I have to say is like, stop being like a loser. Like, I feel like if you don't like this up until this point, it's like they didn't do anything wrong. I don't know, there's like a lot of potential, and I understand that potential can be wasted. So I'm not trying to say that, this is going to be great forever, but I don't know, it moved me. It's definitely something that is for the live audience. And yeah, I really do want to see this succeed, and I want to see. I hope that it's not to the detriment, like how you said, of anyone that I like, because I've seen how Seth has suffered, which made me suffer. So, let's just hope this doesn't result in any type of cringe burials or anything like that. But as of right now, I'm hopeful.
Absolutely. I thought you said it perfectly there, Isra. And so, with that out the way, guys, this is your last opportunity to get us in some super chats. Give us your opinions on the Wyatt Six if you have not already, as well as the other developments on Monday Night Raw. Take it away, Rob. Let's get to them and close this thing out.
All right. Let's see. Mass Fan 84 199. Who better? 2024 Carlito or 2024 Billy Gunn?
Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn. But I don't like watching either of them. But
but go ahead.
Because like, at least Billy Gunn is like still athletic. But I don't like watching Billy Gunn. I enjoy watching Carlito more because I at least enjoy Carlito as a character. I just don't like how Billy Gunn at 60-something years old thinks he's supposed to be like this protected beast, that he's beating up Jay White for 10 minutes straight and not taking a single bump or getting hit at all. Like, that sucks.
I don't care about none of that. I'm going to go 2024 Carlito because at least he's still sexy.
Well, there you that's another perspective. That's another way to look at it. Ibu, did Ibu give his reasons for Billy Gunn or no?
My reasons for Billy Gunn are that Carlito can't move.
Yo, come on.
But Carlito's fun in backstage segments. Like, he adds some type of value to this manosphere thing that Judgment Day has going on.
Billy
is funny.
Gunn beating up Jay White for like 10 minutes straight, no offense. That's
That was
fired you.
bad. That was really bad.
Hey man, that's how you
Is
wanted
he
it, by the way.
eating?
How'd you
Oh yeah,
know?
he's eating. Oh,
Bro.
well, that's why he wasn't fucking talking. Maybe you should like say something. The fuck, Jumanji Hunter, $2. Seth's return not spoiled. Is this the new normal? No.
I think we're in an age now where if WWE doesn't want something spoiled, it won't be spoiled. And if they do want the media to know, they'll let the media know.
Also, Seth himself doesn't typically, from my understanding, does not talk to dirt sheets, doesn't entertain them as far as I know. So I don't see why his plans in particular would leak, because even his whole injury, people didn't know he was injured before Mania until after WrestleMania, because he doesn't really tell that many people his business.
I'll put it to you this way, Isra. Him and Becky, if something leaks, it's because they wanted it to leak.
It's because of Becky.
What'd you say, Israel?
Oh, I didn't say
Because of
nothing.
who?
It's not Seth. That's all I know.
Jumanji Hunter.
Whoa.
Come on, man.
Whoa.
Come on, man. Jumanji Hunter, $2. Kaiser cut a good promo on Raw Talk.
He cuts good promos in general.
I didn't see it. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But Raw Talk doesn't have any wrestling, so it's not a network show I watch, unlike Main Event.
You're a sick fuck.
Oh, you're so mad. Black Yakuza 94, $10. Finn fans were booking him winning Money in the Bank for months, and that died immediately when he was pitted against Jay. They weren't even mad. They just resigned to it. Resigned to it. I think it's resigned.
The Finn Balor Money in the Bank agenda. It never made any sense to me.
Yeah, because bro, people want a Finn Balor world title reign so bad that they were like, oh, he's gonna fuck over he's gonna fuck over Gunther, and he's gonna beat him, and he's gonna cash in on him and go to SummerSlam to face Gunther, and I was like, what? That makes no sense.
Bro, that just was not gonna happen.
That's just not happening, bro. Finn Balor is probably never gonna win the world title again, brother.
It's 2024.
It is the big 2024. That's what it is. Will Chisholm, $5. TNA must feel some type of way. WWE sending AJ Styles to Noah and Io to Marigold, but they get NXT talent. Lol. They're a good NXT talent that they could send to TNA. They just refuse to send.
Oh, the bottom line is TNA know their place in the totem pole.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's really, they know their place in the totem pole. If they expected fucking Cody Rhodes, you're being Delulu.
Cody Rhodes is like on par, I think, going to TNA.
All right.
I think that would
you know what, Israel? I actually agree.
I think that would solidify him as a main eventer,
Cody never finished his story in winning the Impact Grand Championship.
Yeah, so this is why I short you on your paychecks.
Y'all hear that? He's shorting women on pay.
He didn't even pay for my bail. Like, I had to.
Yes, I did. I bailed you out. What are you talking about?
Why was I gone for 3 weeks, Ibu? Just rotting away.
I was gathering the money.
Ibu hates women.
I love women.
No, that's not true. Anyway, that's the end of the super chats.
Mm-hmm. Guys, this was fun. This was very fun.
Yes, it was.
I hope I have reasons to have fun next week too. We shall see. We'll talk next time. But for Isra, for Rob, this was a lovely show. I'm your host, Ibu of Wrestle Pearson. This was the Wrestle Pierce Raw Review. Love you guys. Talk to you next week.